All-road street bashing. Sounds really exciting, doesn't it? Arrma is at it again, creating some really cool stuff for us to rip up the road with, and this time they dropped two releases, the Vendetta 4x4 and the Infraction 4x4. We're gonna save the Vendetta 4x4 for later and concentrate on the Infraction, because this one looks really cool to me. I can't wait to rip up some dirt roads with it, but first let's head over to the workbench because they've got some new parts on there, and I wanna tell you what this truck is all about. Here it is, the Infraction 4x4 Mega ready to run. This truck has a lot of people talking, and so does the Vendetta 4x4. I gotta give you guys a sneak peek of this thing. That looks like it's going to be a speed monster. Can't wait to drive it, but this video is all about this truck right here. The baby Infraction is what some people are calling it. I'll show you what they mean. Here is the Infraction 7 scale over here. This beast is so much fun to drive. I'm actually revamping this one with some aftermarket parts I got in, but back to this thing over here. Check out the colors on this. I really love how Arrma is going wild with their color schemes lately. And if you need something a little bit more subtle, they have the red, white, and blue version as well. Check it out on the box art back there. But this thing looks really cool. Now the body, again, it's a scaled down version of the 7 scale Infraction. It just doesn't have as much of a lip in the front, I think. And I like how they carried over the roof skids. Check it out up here, because I'm sure I'm gonna flip this thing a bunch, and those things always come in handy. We've got the roll bars in the rear that help stiffen everything. And then back here is the spoiler, and I like how they've got the additional lines on here so you could go and trim this down to alter the drag of the spoiler on there. Just really cool design overall. Love the body colors, love the decal placement. I mean, you don't have to do anything here. No cutting, no decaling, no nothing. Pull it out of the box, it looks just like this. And they even have the tethers. I always love the tethers, especially when I'm changing out batteries and stuff. I always lose body clips on other vehicles. I like that they have that. Check this out. They've got decals on the inside of the body so it doesn't scuff up when it's rubbing up against the chassis here. And now let's check out the chassis. This is their long wheelbase composite tub, and the center section probably looks really familiar. We've seen this on other Arrma 4x4 vehicles before, but we've got a lot of changes to the suspension and even the front bumper up here. So we've got a foam front bumper now that will help protect the suspension, and it will help brace the front of the body. The bumper mount even goes up to the shock tower here. Check out these large 8 scale size body posts and the washer plate on here that helps sturdy up the body. Really good looking design. Let me flip it over here so you can see the bottom. Looks like they might actually have a splitter that gets screwed onto the front. Maybe that'll be an option. They've definitely got holes for it, but definitely like the skid plate up front and even the splitter out back. Let's check this thing out. Love the look of that. Again, straight off the larger Infraction, and the body posts in the rear as well are the big heavy duty body posts. So if you do go and flip this thing over, those things are not going to break off. Now, right behind the bumper, I want to point this out so I don't forget it later, is the mount for the sway bar. So they give you sway bars for this, and I'm going to get into the suspension next, but sway bars are used to help reduce chassis rolls. So when you're blasting through corners, that sway bar is going to help settle this truck in, keep the chassis level, and keep you in control. Really like that they went and added that to this truck. Now let's get to the suspension arms. These things look really bulky, don't they? And I mean, there is like no twist to these things. Really like that, because if you're gonna slap some curves with this thing, you're gonna want heavy duty suspension. Speaking of heavy duty, they have new caster blocks and steering knuckles on here. These things are much more stout than what we're used to seeing before, and it looks like they may have reduced the caster in them as well, because that tire is sitting pretty flat, which is what you want for an on-road vehicle. So looks like they did a little redesigning there, and it looks like this is going to be some really tough suspension. Now let's check out the shocks. We've seen these shocks before. They're just a little bit shorter for on-road, but they still have the threaded collars on here. They are composite bodied shocks. We've got the deflectors up front so the shock shafts don't get dirty, and silicone O-rings inside. So these things feel really good. And there isn't a lot of suspension tuning adjustments here. I mean, there's pretty much just a single hole on the arm. The same with the shock tower here. And while I'm actually talking about the new lower shock tower, check this out. Looks like they've got a mounting boss, so we'll be able to put a chassis stiffener on top of this thing later on if we want to. I like that if that does come out as an option. There is that sway bar again. You could see it attaches really low to the arm here. Adjustable turnbuckles up top, but they've got a spacer here, so you're really not going to adjust it. Maybe if you put some optional spacers in there, you can get a little bit more camber in, but I don't think you're really going to need to do that. While I'm at it, let's go out to the rear so we can talk about the rear suspension. Again, shorter H-arms on here, new rear hubs as well, and it looks like we've got some adjustment there for the roll on this. Short shocks in the rear, just like the front, silicone O-rings on the inside. I really like the way Arrma has been setting up their suspension lately on their cars. This thing looks like it's going to handle really well. All right, let's move on to the drivetrain. Now, it's got the 1.35 mod gears in there, the really big ring and pinion. They are composite. However, the internal parts of the differential are all metal. The output shafts to the sliding drive shafts here are metal. So, you know, it's a really heavy duty driveline that can hold up to brushless power if you do go and swap it out later on down the road. So this thing is, you know, proven stuff that we've seen before on Arrma cars, holds up really well. Let's move over to the center drive shaft here. So this drive shaft actually does come out. So you just slide this thing back. And trust me, it slides back. There you go. I got it out now. So that comes out. And then you remove one screw here so you could go remove this module to go and swap out your pinion gear if you need to do any maintenance. So this, again, is a really proven setup that works well, easy to work on. And there's a slipper clutch I should mention as well. They have the castellated, I think I got that right, castellated slipper pad in there, which looks like a fiberglass slipper pad, a single pad. This setup should work a lot better, should be a lot more reliable, and it's even used on the BLX models. So you know that it's a good slipper setup that's in there. It's got 0.8 mod gears inside. So I think my Typhon had 48 pitch gears. This has the 8 mod, and then a 15 tooth pinion, and you can go and adjust the motor mesh here. So if you do want to go put a bigger pinion gear on, you can do that. Same differential in the rear as in the front, the short sliders and everything, and that pretty much makes up everything you need to know about the drivetrain on this. Again, we've seen most of it before. It's really easy to get everything out of here. Same with the differentials, just like 8 screws. You could access the differential for any maintenance or grease changes, anything like that. Now let's move on to some other chassis details. Again, long wheelbase chassis on this, really rigid composite structure. Steering bell cranks are located up front here for the steering. Pretty simple. They've got extra space in here so rocks could get out. If you're kicking up rocks with this thing, it's not gonna get all caught up in the steering. There is a servo saver on the servo to help protect that. And plenty of spacing for the battery pack. So if you go put a LiPo in here, you'll be able to do that. Simple Velcro straps to hold the battery down. And let's move on to the electronics now. So up front, we've got the S605 servo. It's got about 84 ounce-inches of torque, which is pretty basic. It's waterproof. It does have plastic gears, so I don't know. I think some people are going to swap that out pretty soon, but it will get you going. Provide plenty of fun for those that are just bashing occasionally. Right behind it here is the Arrma speed controller. This is a 2S compatible LiPo speed controller. I know some people were asking me if it's 3S capable. It is not. So you could just run nickel metal hydride packs in here up to the 8.4 volt, which we'll talk about in a minute, or a 2S LiPo. It is waterproof though. We've got the waterproof boot switch and everything. That speed controller should just work fine. And then it powers this 9-turn 570 brush motor. Check out that beast. That thing is huge. It's got an internal cooling fan in there and kind of your basic looking brush motor, but should have plenty of torque for this beast. And next to it is the included Dynamite Speed Pack 3,300 milliamp 7-cell hump pack. And again, this will give this car plenty of power to go up to about 30 miles an hour. That's what it's saying on the box. So we'll definitely check that out. IC3 plugs on here, so if you do go and get some extra batteries, make sure it's an EC3 or an IC3. And that is about it for the electronics, except for the radio. I'll talk about that in a minute. Now let's move on to the tires. These are the Qatar tires mounted on a gunmetal wheel. Kind of looks like a steel wheel, actually. I like the look of that. But these tires, these look pretty gnarly. These are pretty firm as well. I don't know if they have an internal structure or foam in there, but whatever it is a pretty firm setup. So that's gonna shred some dirt, and I bet you it's gonna hold up well on asphalt as well. That's really about it for the car. You know, it's a great looking car. Like I said before, it's an all-road car. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun in a lot of different situations. Let me just show you what else comes in the box. Now this one comes with the SLT3 radio system. Definitely like this as a budget radio system. The SLT protocol that it has works really well. It's got your basic trim functions. They give you your manuals to get you up and running. There is a basic wall charger. It'll get you running too, but I really suggest getting a fast charger and some basic tools as well. Some Allen wrenches and a multi-tool here. And those actually come in handy. Don't throw those away. I have had plenty of times where I needed a 2.0 Allen wrench and it came in handy while I was out driving something. But we need to run this beast. So let's head outside and find plenty of spots to shred some dirt, shred some asphalt, and just have lots of fast fun. All right, RC drivers, check this out. I found this skate park in the next town over from me that I never knew about. Actually, my wife found it. She was looking up places for me to go and run, trying to change some things up, and I found this place, and I just had to bring the Infraction 4x4 over here, and it's been absolutely awesome. You know, I took it to a park lot, it was fun. I took it to a dirt lot, it was fun. But here, this thing is just insane. I've been having such a blast with it. It is just so cool. Now first, you know, in the other lots, I thought, yeah, the power was okay, but here it is perfect for this spot. Look at that little jump action through the bowl. Awesome. Oh man, you have no idea how much fun I've been having here with this thing, and I've been really beating it up. See how much speed it has here? It's just perfect for this spot. It turns really good. It actually flies through the air really well. Look at that thing. Oh man, this is cool. This is so cool. Watch this. Yeah. Woo, I love this bump over this little tabletop thing here. Watch this rip. Oh, you're slapping the chassis. This thing is taking a beating. This is fun here. Watch this. Through the water. Oh, perfect. Look at that little tire action over there left over from the water. Oh man, this thing is just so cool. I thought it was going to be awesome. That's why I wanted to review it before the Vendetta, and man, I am glad I did. Wow, landing on all fours. Let's go over here. This spot's pretty cool. Let's kind of rip the rail a little bit. There's a rail up top. I don't know if I can get there. Over the edge. Did it survive? It's turtled. It's turtled. I think it's good. I think it's good. We'll see. Still good. This thing has taken such a beating. I've already driven it a bunch. The body is pretty mangled already. I'll show you guys that later, but watch this. Yeah. Over this, ride this rail. You know what? This is kind of a big ramp here. Let's go for this big ramp. Of course, the other side is nice and angled, but this has got a steep angle. So we'll get some air here. Watch this. Whoa! Awesome, 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 awesome. How cool is that? Yeah. This is the spot for this car. If you've got a skate park that lets you drive RC cars in it, this is the one to get. This is awesome. I don't know, I've said that a million times, but it's true. Let's go through the water. Yeah, it's waterproof. We just did the test. Still working. Yeah, love it. Look at that. Yes, this is awesome, Arrma. The Infraction 4x4. I mean, the Infraction 7 scale is cool. But look at this. Look at the beating this thing's taking. Ooh, let's go over to the rail over here. This should be fun. See if we can ride this rail. And we'll wrap this thing up. All right, ready, guys? Yeah, awesome. So awesome. Other way. Oh, there's gonna be some serious road rash on this body. So cool. Ooh, it almost ended my day there. Ready? Yeah. Let's see if we can get it. Watch this. Oh man. All right, one more jump and then we'll kick it back to the workshop. I'm gonna come off the ramp here. So much fun. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, are we stuck? Nope. Drop it back down. Yeah. I could do that all day. All right, ready? Here we go. All right. Oh, this is so cool. All right, back to the workshop and we'll wrap up the review. I think it's obvious Arrma nailed it again. The fun factor of the Infraction 4x4 is just through the roof. My excitement at the skate park was truly genuine. I had so much fun driving it there. I gotta say, when I first started driving, it was in an asphalt parking lot, and it was just okay there. It could use a little bit more speed, and then I took it to a dirt parking lot, and the fun was bumped up a little bit more because it's shredding dirt. But when I took it to that skate park, it was absolutely perfect. There, it was perfectly powered, had plenty of steering, and I mean, just non-stop action, as you guys saw. I just blew through a ton of packs there. I blew through all the packs that I had there. I only used the packs for a few minutes in the other lots, and then, you know, there I just kept going and going and going through the camera on my head so you guys could see the action, and they nailed it. I mean, this thing, it just took a beating on top of everything I was doing to it. It was taking some really hard hits. I was jumping this thing into the fence, jumping it onto flats of asphalt, so it was just hard hit after hard hit. It would fall off some of the ramps that were there. I hit some of those ledges and everything. This is one tough machine. It is Arrma tough, basically. It took a lot. I mean, there's a little damage to the body, but you know, that's to be expected with an RC car. Even chip missing out of the back of it. The front's all mashed up. The roof skids, those came in handy because this thing was sliding on the roof a lot. But this thing was just so cool there. As you guys saw, it was grinding over the rails, going over the ramps, just ripping through that quarter bowl that was there. I could have spent another couple hours there. If I only had some more packs, it was just so much fun to drive. And it's been raining for a while now. I have been just totally dying to drive this thing, and it delivered on the action. This is just a great truck. Maybe, you know, if you are going to use it in a parking lot or a dirt parking lot, you might want a bit more power to it. Maybe you want to look into a spectrum system for it, like what's in the Vendetta maybe. But if you have a small contained area like I was in for that skate park, it was actually powered really perfect. That motor that's in there had plenty of torque, so when I was going, you know, like up the lip of some of those ramps at the skate park, I was able to just squirt the throttle and just watch this thing pop up and over the edges and everything. Very cool stuff. The steering worked really well. Plenty of steering throw. Maybe the only one issue I could find with it is the rear end is a little bit loose. And sometimes that's actually a lot of fun for power sliding through corners and stuff. And other times it's a little, you know, kind of a pain because you'll do some donuts, you'll spin out. So, you know, just watch yourself on the throttle depending on the surface you're on. And I think you'll be good with this truck. The tire wear, that's one other thing I wanted to mention. Not a lot of tire wear either. And these are kind of like treaded tires, spike treaded tires almost. So I thought that they were gonna get trashed in the parking lots, but they didn't. They're holding up really well. Even the rims are holding up well. And this thing was landing on the side. I thought I was definitely gonna crack a rim, but everything seems to be really tough. Speed-wise, it did do pretty well on the stock battery pack. I got it up to 24. That was after thrashing on this thing and, you know, really caking it up with dirt, so it probably weighs another pound. So I think if I had a nice clean car with the motor broken in, well, I mean, I just went out and ran this thing. It might hit that 30-mile-an-hour speed, and you know what? They usually are correct if they're putting it on the box. But it's certainly plenty fast. Oh, the other thing I wanted to point out is I did get a small rock in the spur gear, so somehow stuff is still getting in there, but I managed to work through that. Arrma did an awesome job with this. Now I can't wait to drive the Vendetta. If you want to see that, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notifications bell, and throw this video a like while you're down there. Let me know what you guys think of this in the comments section. You think you're gonna add one? Where would you go and bash it if you did add one to your collection? And yeah, I gotta get out with this thing again. Let me know what I should do to it. Should I go and put a brushless system in? Let me know about that in the comments as well. Winter's rolling up, so I gotta get some projects scheduled, like I don't have enough already. All right, guys, thanks again for watching, and check back soon because I have so many more videos planned for you guys. All right, we'll see you then.